Good morning, everybody. It's Marty the JavaScript Party, and it is the 4th of August. We are officially in what we like to call the dog days of summer here in the South. It's hot. It's so hot. And now all the flying, biting things are running strong. All right, so I'm working on unit tests. All the unit tests are just completely broken, right? Like it was pretty shocking yesterday. Very, very off-putting. Um, and then um, so I started trying to kind of think through what all this means, because like there's so much meaning in life. And I think what it comes down to is that um, the context of the code when I decided to isolate that service to create like what I'm calling a scoped service. I don't know of a better word, but when I have a service that is limited to a parent component and a bunch of its children so that I can sort of set boundaries, right? Like that's something that ChatGPT says a lot. It's like, oh, you're creating a boundary or a friction point. So I'm trying to make it to where it's difficult for information that should be isolated to a specific set of components so that is so it's hard to get that information outside of where it needs to be. So that as simple as that. And that seems like a very reasonable thing. But like unit tests just broke all over the place and in a very like exotic way for me, like a way that I've never seen before, a novel. It was completely like a novel breakages that I don't understand at all. And the thing is that's the point. That's the whole point is trying to like I made a change. I made a change foundationally in the way things work. Sometimes when you make a foundational change, it doesn't really change anything. Everything's kind of the same. You just have like a little tweak to the way you do things. But sometimes you make a foundational change and it changes everything. It changes things in ways that you couldn't contemplate. So these unit tests just breaking is like almost like very much like a sign that this may be one of those foundational changes that is runs a lot deeper than what I thought, right? So I had in my mind, I had a certain set of thoughts, and those thoughts um, might not be complete. And this is kind of telling me that, hey, there's stuff going on here that you don't get because this is crazy, right? It says e- some kind of weird character that I've never seen, not found. NG 201, no provider found for app update layout service 2. So that makes sense because I think I made the app layout service a a um, standalone. What am I trying to say? I made the app layout service a scoped provider, but it seems to be causing all kinds of issues that I just don't understand. And what's really weird is, um, like I told it to just so describe this, so it should only be running this one suite, but it's running all the suites. So I don't quite understand that. That just seems like complete gibberish to me. So I'm going to tell it to just focus on this one thing. And so this is a perfect example is I don't even know what to ask ChatGPT to try to figure this out. Okay, so this is good. So we have it only trying to run this one thing and we're getting the error that we're getting. So it is possible that there's probably one or two possible, well, there's one of three possibilities. There's like a possibility that like Karma Jasmine just doesn't work with this kind of thing. That is I think it's a very low chance, but there that we have to acknowledge that that is a possibility that like you can't use standalone with or scoped services with Karma Jasmine. I don't think that's the case, but it's possible. And then secondarily, it could be that um, we need to just make one change in one place and it's fixed for everywhere. that is a possibility. I don't think that's the case there. I do think it's a stronger possibility of that than the first thing. And then thirdly, we need to come up with like a new pattern to deal with this. And when we're making that new pattern, we're going to have this amazing opportunity to get a deeper understanding that of something, because this makes no sense to me. Or it does make a little bit of sense, but it makes a lot more sense today than it did yesterday. So we do have this one thing running, and I think even if we comment out the expect, we're still going to have this problem. And I don't even know. This is the okay. So this is my top app layout container. So I don't know. It acted like it ran, but so now let's go back to let's close everything else. Close others. And let's go back to this. And then let's go. So that's the template. So you see, it is trying to get this. See, I thought that might be the problem. Might end up being a problem is trying to get this in the template. I think that's where things are breaking. I don't think there's anything in here. Yeah, see, we don't even have any functions. So like literally, this is all we do. And it is possible that we'll figure this out and not learn a thing. I mean, that is definitely a possibility, but I don't want to do that. So I think what we could do is we can actually create a providers. I think I tried this yesterday in some other thing, but so we want to do a provider and we want okay, so this is the viewer component. Um, and then it's this guy right here. So just to be clear, and this is the part of the whole thing where I'm saying like, okay, something's happened here. It was terrifying at first. Almost everything that is worth learning and where you get like that sort of pro tip sort of understanding of things. I don't even know if that makes sense anymore. There used to be a concept called a pro tip, and that was just like, hey, there's somebody who's been doing something for a long time, and they figured out a couple of little shortcuts or whatever, and that make things easier. So if to get that, you almost always have to have some sort of shocking experience, like what I experienced yesterday. But you see, this app viewport resize comes from the um, and I guess I do this so that I can remember better. Uh, it is a singleton, and then this one um, scoped to the app. I don't think these comments will make it into the I don't think these comments will make it in like be committed, but for my brain right now, it just gives me a certain sense of order. All right, so this is the one we want, and so I think what we want to do is add it here. I don't know this, so like right now, I'm like grasping at straws, which is fine. Like sometimes that's just the way it goes, but um, if it does work, then um, that'll be good. So it says no provider for app layout service providers. All right, so I added this into as a provider into here, but when it goes to create, I think it's here, right? So let's just do this. So my guess is it's happening inside of this fixture thing. So let's just comment that out just for now and just see if the problem goes away. And I would say this is probably like my number one. Nope, still. Let's get the compile components out. Okay, so let's get rid of the whole before each. Oh, so interesting. So that's a interesting piece of information. I wasn't really okay. I guess it wasn't that interesting piece of information. So it looks like something might be happening. It's still breaking. Let's get rid of the whole this. Let's see if it. I think it should. The F describe should still limit it to just this one suite. No. So F describe is definitely not. All right, so let's undo that, and then we're just say expect one. Oh my gosh, you're such a pain. One dot two be truthy. So that's all we wanted to do is just say that one is truthy. So this is bizarre, right? Like this makes no sense. It's trying to run one thing. It's saying spec one, three failures, error during describe with no children. Oh, but I still get this. So okay, so this I don't know why the describe with no children is. Well, first of all, it's not even true, right? Because and it's weird that the F describe isn't working. All right. So I feel like we are finally to the point. Like at this point, I don't even know. Like because it's weird, right? It's not even doing anything. I'm gonna try one last thing and then put my thinking cap back on for tomorrow. And again, like I'm having a little bit of I don't know what the right word would be like I'm having unnecessary and unuseful stress at the moment. Which is like and the reason is because almost every time I've ever been in this situation historically, almost every single time it's been like a very negative experience. It's been a very like oh my gosh, we're in a 2 week sprint. We're having a demo. I'm supposed to be having a demo tomorrow. The code is working perfectly, but I can't get it to deploy because to one of my instances to the instance that I would demo this off of because it's not passing unit tests. And now I got to try to figure this out. And it seemed like such a reasonable thing to create a scoped service, but like this is weird. Now, sometimes I do know that that there is something different with Karma Jasmine when you start from scratch versus if it's already running. So I'm hoping that starting from scratch because it's acting like in such a bizarre way right now, right? Like um, it's like showing it's like not even supposed to be doing anything, and it's like saying, "Hey, this standalone component isn't working." So let's see what happens. Yep. So it's still saying that. It's just like, why? Why is it? Why is it even trying to find this? Right? We aren't even doing anything. And it's like it's weird just because it's like when it's trying to create the injector, Okay, so for the so something even before we ever even do a single thing is trying to like maybe transpile the oh, I guess that's what this is it's actually it's failing on the transpile, but it looks like it's failing during the testing. So like it's like I think it's failing while it's just trying to get everything up and running. And normally it would catch that, but and it would just like refuse to transpile. It'd just be like, yeah, I can't do anything. But then for some reason it's getting past that, it seems like. And then when it gets past that, it's giving us a false positive as if it was a failure in the um, tests. But it looks like it's no, it's just a failure in it trying to just get itself booted up. There's something it's doing in there that's just not working. So I don't know. I think, right? Like that is like probably the best thing I should do after saying that is like amen, because that's really a prayer. I'm just hoping that that's what the problem is. I have no freaking idea what's going on right now, and that's not a good feeling. Um, and not only that, but what's really bad about this is I think I'm doing something that's just completely something that I'm just doing. So, I might be on my own here. ChatGPT might not be able to help me with this one. But anyways, happy coding, everybody. Have a wonderful day. Bye.